there's another name in the news. And this guy, Ryan Garcia's name keeps popping up, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's for the right reasons, and sometimes it's for all the wrong reasons. So we've spent some time with Ryan. We first met Ryan at the Soho house party we did in Miami.
Yes.
And he was there. He was the whole crew.
Yes.
And he kind of had this like, man, fuck anybody. UFC guys, legends were there. Like, we're like, this kid's like, he's on one, right?
He's on it.
But that's kind of how you have to be. But when I said for all the wrong reasons, here's the situation where he was arrested just this past weekend for felony vandalism at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in LA for allegedly causing up to $15,000 in damage. If you want to play that video again, there's him being walked out of the hotel in handcuffs and wearing a helmet. Yeah. like a fighting helmet. Guard, yeah. So
when you guys said helmet, I really thought you meant like special person helmet.
No, it's special person helmet. That's what you thought.
I mean, doing that stuff.
King Ryan. Really, Padrino.
Because he does crazy trolling stuff. So I thought it was like him being funny. I didn't realize it was like.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that because when the conversation he had on PBD podcast, he said he claimed to troll the entire world and that it was the biggest publicity stunt ever. But there was a tweet in that article. If you scroll down and see that article in the Prast article, this is what Andrew Tate just basically said, free Ryan. But go back to the previous article. If you scroll down, there's a tweet that Ryan has where he says, there it is right there. He said, kind of funny. Go ahead, Nat.
Kind of funny. Both Trump and I are in jail. I don't know if he's in jail, but I know he got convicted. This sucks, but I love Jesus and I will be okay.
All right. So here are just a couple things that I'm going to show a video of Ryan and Colby recently, probably a month ago or so. I'm going to let you explain what you think is going on here. So here's just some of the things that Ryan has been dealing with. The incident follows a tumultuous period for Garcia, including mental health concerns. You thought that he's crazy. You thought he was wearing a crazy person helmet, just a boxing person helmet.
He acts crazy.
Ryan, if you have a problem, you find Laura at Padrino's Cuban restaurant. Not me, bro.
Be quiet.
There's been actually a welfare checks by the police, making sure he's divorced. Been seen out with multiple women. I think it got engaged, allegedly,
that's what I thought,
to a porn star.
Oh, I didn't know she was
an Aussie porn star.
Okay.
There was a Devin Haney fight where he didn't make weight by 3 pounds. By the way, do you know he was fighting at 140? He was 3 pounds overweight. Tell me if this is common. He had to pay $500,000 for each pound overweight. Is that common?
I mean, it could be common. It depends on what his purse is, because usually when you're missing weight, you're getting fined 20 to 40% of your purse.
Shit.
So if he's making like a $5-10 million purse, 500,000 pounds, a pound makes sense.
So he lost $1.5 million for being 3 pounds overweight.
Imagine that, ladies.
Makes you want to think about your
imagine that, ladies.
So he won the fight, but now he's facing doping and steroid allegations. So it's like he's getting wins, he's getting losses, but he's not down out for the count. We saw that Andrew Tate tweeted support of Ryan. But more importantly, we got Colby Covington here.
Uh-oh.
We have some footage of Ryan kind of, mixing it up with Colby. I don't know where this was. Was this at Mar-a-Lago? Where was this video?
No, this is outside the gala in Miami Beach.
I was thinking that.
Okay, I'm like, why do I know where this is? Because Colby and I might have been there at 4 a.m. at one point. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
Drinking water, though, of course.
Water.
Of course.
Here's Ryan teaching you a couple little moves. Go ahead, play the audio.
We're not expecting. So it's either head or which one do you want? I don't know. Or it's, and then if I see you lean back. So you jumping into it? Like, are you putting the 440? Are you rotating?
It's always the right time.
Okay. So now
it's always the right time.
Right on the side. If your head is covered. Okay. Now if it's
Look at Colby's face right
That
there.
reaction was so funny. Oh, that's
Be respectful,
Yeah,
Of course.
So,
You're out.
Colby,
you entertained it for sure.
Listen, there's only a few people in the world that can legitimately answer these type of questions. People who are fighting for a living, who have made it in the fighting business, have notoriety, have status, got good looks too.
Yep.
Ladies, man, I'm just saying.
You said
Okay. What's going on with Ryan Garcia, in your opinion?
You know, Ryan's cool. You know, he took time to show me a trick. His famous left hook, what he's very famously known for. He's knocked down a lot of people with that left hook. So it's lightning fast. I just wanted to kind of see it and see what that timing was like. But, you know, honestly, it was weird that he came out and said all that stuff was a gimmick on your podcast because, you know, after hanging out with him at the gala, like, he really is a wild boy. So I don't know why he's trying to, like, tell the fans that he's not wild because he really is wild. Like, that's how he gets around and moves. But I think I think he wants sympathy and to be painted in a good picture. But, you know, live your life, do your thing. You're doing big things. But, you know, nothing but respect for him.
So how much of it do you think is a publicity stunt? How much do you think he's actually just kind of, would you said he's a little...
What? No, he's trolls.
Oh, you know, a little kooky, a little crazy?
He has a little bold
what are you going to say?
No, he can get a little bit bold on the internet, you know, and I think sometimes, especially with the internet today, it's easy to be somebody on the internet and then be somebody off the internet. So to kind of hear that he is like that, it's kind of like, all right, well, we are getting who he is. You know, at least it's not like...
I think he's what you see is what you get. I don't think he's
put on
a show. Yeah.
But I mean, everybody's different.
So do you think it's an act? Do you think it is who he is? Like, give us a little insight to what you think is actually going on. Not so much out there, but when he's alone by himself, he's like, all right, bro, we gotta troll these people out here. We gotta get some eyeballs, you know. We're in the eyeball business. We're in the intention business. You know, clicks equals money these days. Behind the scenes, what do you think is going on in Ryan's head?
I think it's a combination of both. I think he's like, you know, I need to mix it up, be more entertaining because this is the entertainment business. The more people you get drawn in, the more pay-per-view and the more clicks you're going to make money off of. So, you know, I think with him, though, it's kind of like the wrestlers back in the day where they played the character so much that they ended up being the character, becoming the character. So it could be overtaking his life where he feels like that's who he has to be now.
It's kind of like the actor Daniel Day-Lewis. Like he had to become Abraham Lincoln. He's out there still to this day trying to free the slaves. It's like, listen, they've been free. You know, the movie, the Five Towns. What was the movie that he did? It was The Butcher.
Okay.
No.
Remember this?
No.
I don't remember that one.
Right.
Yeah, like an immersive actor that he like.
With Leonardo DiCaprio? Oh, yeah, character actor. Insane. Yeah. So, I actually came across this article that, by the way, Marissa, ladies, just before I pivot, as you grow older, at some point, like, do you still like the bad boys? Because there's a bad man right here. There's a bad man right here. Like,
yeah, but there's levels to being like a bad boy.
Okay.
You know, like a bad boy that's like living life on the edge. Then you know a bad boy that's like bad news. Like there's different levels of like the bad that is attractive in a way.
Ladies, teach us men what the bad boy is.
It's just more so like a man that's willing to take a risk, but also take into counter, you know, the line not to cross. You know, going far enough, but not too far where it's too late. I think that's attractive because it gives them an opportunity to show a level of being protective and dominant and taking control of crazy situations. Yeah. But I don't want somebody who's a hothead who's ready to knock somebody out because the door didn't open wide enough for someone. You know, it gets a little bit too much at some point. But I never like anybody who's also like, especially combative when we're out together. It personally makes me nervous. I'd rather just...
How about you, Marissa? You're a Jersey girl?
Yeah.
Jersey Shore?
New York.
New York? I don't know. You're hanging out with the situation out there. I don't know what's going on. How old are you now?
I'm 26.
You're 26.
Yeah.
In your 20s was like the crazy, wild, like vibe, more yours vibe? Or now I met your boyfriend. He seems a little more chill.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight from a lady's perspective. Look, this guy can have any chick he wants at this point. This dude can have any chick he wants. Like, give us a little insight from what ladies look for in a man that are little wild boys.
We want like a bad boy, right? We want someone that's protective and like dominant, but we don't want someone that's going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
And that we don't have anymore, right? Yeah. So, you know, there's a fine line there. We don't want a hothead that's going to create drama for no reason, but we want someone that's dominant. I love dominance like that. That's like what I prefer, I would say.
So how can you tell the difference of like, all right, he's tough, he's dominant, but he's not going to end up in jail?
If they're a little
because Ryan ended up in jail. I'm just,
that notice.
I guess if they're a little crazy, right? Like you could tell if someone's just heated over nothing. That's too much. You know, you want someone that's heated in the right way.
Huh.
Yeah,
and
heated in the right way.
And you can also determine that based on someone's values. What their values are will tell you what will trigger them. And I think that's very important to know. You have somebody who has very strong family values, they protect that. That's something that's important for them.
Yes.
Versus somebody who's like, I don't care, anything, bothers me, I'm ready to take it on, I'll knock you out no matter what. You have to know when's enough.
That's actually interesting, because for as crazy and as wild and as a bad boy as you say Ryan is, he's very religious. Like, he's constantly talking about...
but is it religious
Says
about
he is.
just for the audience to see that? Like, hey, even though I do these bad things, Jesus loves you. It's like, well,
I know.
You went and you kind of did X, Y, and Z. Jesus loves you, sure, but there also has to be that correlation.
So
There's
you're saying
a difference.
it can be something like a cloak masking
it could
what's
be.
really going. Like how Diddy was out there after everything he's doing. He's like, listen,
Yeah.
God's gonna looking over me. It's like,
yeah.
dude, nobody's looking over you at this point, Diddy.
You need help.
Same.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a fine line. It's a fine line, to be honest.
How about you, Padrina? What are your thoughts?
No, I'd be careful, with calling him a very religious or Christian or anything like that, because his actions speak way louder than all those little tweets and all that kind of stuff. But you're talking about dominance. I don't think dominance and bad boy have anything to do with each other. You could be an assertive, like a strong man, and that has nothing to do with bad boy. But what I stay clear from and will never be attractive to me is bad decision boys. Like bad decisions are just gross, and all of this is giving me bad decision vibes. It's
Well, a
really
lot of
not
it
cute.
has to do with growth as a man.
Yeah, he's a
you kind
punk
of got to
kid.
test the waters, because there's two stories here. By the way, here's a story right here. Malevolent traits may be the key to athletic success, says this particular story, right? So research shows that traits like narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. Have you ever read The Prince, Machiavelli? Any of you guys? That's some shit right there, guys.
Are you accusing Colby right now?
Although considered, what's that?
Are you accusing Colby of these things?
No, I'm just...
Reading a story. Just say what the stats
Though
are.
considered malevolent in social settings, can aid elite athletes into achieving success. By the way, I had to double check what malevolent means. And it basically means, I'm going to do some harm to your ass.
Oh.
Like, I'm going to mess you up.
Okay.
You know what this means.
Like some violence.
He's like,
I'm condoning violence, kind of a thing.
I feel like you can separate it. Like, I'm not intimidated or scared to be around you, where Ryan would be scared to death to be around.
But,
I am.
So they talk about how these traits are actually
I don't think he's gonna
good
be
for
violent to
athletes,
me.
especially for a fighter who steps in a ring where it's your job to do some
Mess him up.
violence.
Yep.
And they say that the
Do some
downside could
violence.
negatively impact a potential athlete and coach relationship, making coaches less responsive and athletes less trusting, respectful. So there comes the good, the bad. But they're saying overall, this is, by the way, there's something called the dark triad. I don't know if you can pull that up. Dark triad in the dating world. If you go down a little bit, this is the three components of a dark triad. There's I think a triangle out there if you scroll down just a little bit. Keep going.
Down.
Keep going down.
Keep going.
The dark triad. There it is. So narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, pride, egotism,
and lack of empathy.
empathy. By the way, I got some narcissistic tendencies, but I've done this test.
Yeah,
It's a
he
good
does.
test.
He does.
Characterized by Machiavellism, characterized by manipulation, exploitation of others, lack of morality, callousness, and extremely self-centeredness, and psychopathy, characterized by antisocial behavior, impulsivity, selfishness, callous and emotional traits, and remorsefulness. So
This makes perfect sense.
all these, I say all this to say, if you have all three of these things, yeah, I can understand why I can be kind of aggressive. But as the article says, these types of things actually help guys out there.
I believe it.
Like, if you're in the fighting world, if you're in the athlete world, like it's the NBA playoffs right now, like Dallas Mavericks are down 0-3. Luka has to be like, bro, I gotta fucking kill these guys. You know what it's like. So there's some truth to this, is what I'm saying, is that especially when you walk into a ring, it's your life or his, essentially. So how much truth is it to basically that doing harm to others and understanding that it's him or me that's coming out with $1 million or $10 million or the belt, whatever, actually motivates you? How much truth is into the story, you think?
There's definitely a lot of truth to it, but you have to have that light switch where you can turn it on and off. And that's probably the difference is, some of these people, they forget that they're not on a camera anymore and they're in real life, and they should treat others with respect and show their values and morals out there instead of, trying to rip people apart and just be piece of shit human beings. So, I see a lot of guys that they fall the ego gets to them. They get a little fame, they get a little money. Now they start thinking they can treat people any way they want. And that's not realistic. You should be a good human being.
I love this. This
Yeah,
explains
that's
so much. This is the perfect example of what we were kind of explaining, which is like having these qualities. A little bit of these qualities can really get you into great places. You see a lot of leaders, top people with some of these qualities. But it's that fine line that as soon as you go too much of it, you lost it. And I love that it's a triangle because it's all equal. You have to have a balance of all of that. That's that fine line of the bad boy versus somebody who's actually a go-getter and knows how to get things done. So I think this is the perfect explanation of kind of what we put together when it comes to the bad boy versus like somebody where it's not too bad.
Interesting point. Right. So I want you to, we're going to shift gears in a second, but you talked about being on camera, off camera, how to maneuver, how to not maneuver. Like I can tell you that we've hung out a handful of times when the camera's not on, you're not fighting. Total gentleman.
Yes.
Treats people with respect. The way that you comment yourself, because people will talk. Oh, I met Colby. Like we met all the cops in front of Bodega. You took a picture of all the cops. Like now the cops are like, bro, I met Colby. That was great. Like the reputation will precede yourself. We remember that. So there's also playing like a character. So again, you could just Google like Colby used to be a bad boy in the UFC. Here's this article right here where he was quote unquote how Colby Covington became UFC's biggest villain.
This
right?
was in
If you scroll down, this is
2019.
This is 5+ years ago.
Yeah.
So you've grown. Look at that bad boy right there.
Oh my gosh.
That's in the ring. So
You should have seen the other guy.
should have seen the other guy.
He went to the hospital.
Maybe, I don't know if it's even advice to Ryan, advice to either just men out there growing up, because you're 36?
Yep.
36. Ryan's 26, 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got 10 years on this dude.
Yeah.
Like, I remember having a conversation, to be ironic, when we talked about Sneeko earlier. When I first interviewed Sneeko, how old was he?
Oh, yeah.
24. I said, bro,
24?
I look forward to seeing you when you're 30.
Yeah.
Because you're going to grow.
For sure.
That's just going to happen.
Maturity.
So advice to young men out there who are doing crazy, wild things. They're going to be 30. They're going to be 35. They're going to be 40 one day. You're no longer that dude right there. You've grown.
Yeah.
So advice to the even Ryan Garcias of the world, or the young men out of the world, about growth and going from I say this all the time, you have to go from being a boy to being a fuck boy to a fuck man to becoming a man.
Oh.
Yeah.
So talk to men about that growth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between being a man and being the man, and he's still young. I don't want to like paint a picture like he's such a bad person. Everything he does is irredeemable, but he's gonna learn. You have to sometimes fall before you're gonna learn your lessons in life, and he's still in his 20s, so I was an idiot when I was 22. I made a lot of bad decisions, but as I got older, I realized who I wanted to be. I wanted to be a man of faith. I wanted to have my platform stand for the people that I care about the most, which is, first responders, law enforcement, and the Trump family. Those are the people that I feel like really care about America, and they're the backbone of the country. So,
when
that's
did you kind of have
what's
that
important to me.
switch? When was that switch for you? When you were in your bad boy phase and then you started realizing some of those things, what was that switch? Was there a moment? Was there a fight? What kind of made that turn for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was mainly like when I was in college, just doing dumb college things. In the frat sorority life, you do things that you regret, but that's what life's all about, is learning from those things. But as far as career-wise, like, I've just turned everything up to 11. Like, I realize when I go on camera and I'm at these fights, like, I need to be an entertainer because it's show business. So, I turn it up to 11. I'm not afraid to say the things that are going to hurt people's feelings, because a lot of them, they're all true. Everything I say is true, but it's just brutally honest truth, and people don't want to hear the brutal honest truth. Like, people don't want to know that Hunter Biden is fucking his dead brother's ex-wife. People don't want to know he's a drug addict, but these are truth, it's facts. But, I said some mean words, but, I get locked in a cage to kill people, and they can kill me if they want to.
There's, I'll say one thing to that, because it's so true what he said, that one of the things that resonated with me was, college, doing some crazy things. For you guys out there, I went to college in the early 2000s. Did you go to Oregon? Where'd you go?
Oregon State.
Oregon State.
Yeah.
So you're a Beaver.
Beaver.
That's right.
Damn, sharp.
I'm a Seminole. I know what's up.
You know what's up.
But thank God social media was not around when I was at Florida State University in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Because, they say that your brain doesn't develop till you're 25 years old or whatever it is, your frontal cortex.
Yeah.
You're gonna do some dumbass shit when you're in college, and you're supposed to. Yeah. You're supposed to get drunk and throw up and be like, damn, I probably shouldn't have drank that many beers. Oh my God, I probably shouldn't have fucking driven drunk. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Oh my God, I probably shouldn't have picked a fight with that guy in the bar because he beat the shit out of me. You're gonna learn some lessons, but you know, you're gonna get better for it. But the difference is now those lessons, they're on camera. Yeah. And as they say, the internet is forever. So when you were doing things out there in Oregon State, beating people's asses, nobody knows about these things these days. You know, when I was at Florida State, nobody sees these things. But to the Ryan Garcias of the world, everything he does is on the internet. Yeah. Everything that you young guys do is on the internet. And as they say, the internet is undefeated. So be careful what you're doing out there. Listen to Colby and make wise decisions. And you said there's a difference between being a man and the man. Wise words never spoken. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you like that one, click right here to watch the full SOSCAST. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.